Look, I did my part in finding out who took my aunt's life. Maybe you should do your part and make sure she gets justice, since you seem to care. I do. Underneath all of that hurt and anger, I know that you care too. What if this person is dangerous? Wouldn't they be angry if we wouldn't respond? If this person becomes a clear threat, then we'll go to the police. Right now, we just have to pray that they won't be. We just need to live life as normal and not worry the kids. Are you telling me that you're not gonna sign the divorce papers? Why didn't you call to tell me that you were coming? I've lived in this house for almost 30 years, Gianni. I don't need your permission to come to the house where our son still lives. Sounds like this was a waste of time because Max isn't here. I didn't come here to see Max. Then I'm gonna guess you're gonna express your concerns about Ben. You know that we can't send him into rehab, Heidi. He has to make that decision on his own. This isn't about Ben. It's about our marriage, which doesn't exist. That's what you think. Forget about handing me the divorce papers. I'm not signing them. Okay, JJ. Spill. What are you talking about? Why have you been in such a miserable mood all day? Are you taking your medication? Yes, Vanessa. I'm taking my medicine. Then what's wrong? After your diagnosis, you promised Mom and Dad that you wouldn't keep things to yourself. But Mom and Dad get to keep things from us all they'd like. I'm coming. I'm coming. Max, why didn't you call to tell me you'd be stopping by? Have you learned nothing after getting arrested for beating up Devontae Torres? Mr. Torres, I'd like to introduce you to Quinlan Franklin. Miss Franklin, it's nice to officially meet you. In fact, I know her brother. Do you? Yes, he's the boy who broke my little girl's heart. I would like to apologize for Zeke's actions. I'll give you two time to sort this out before the interview starts. Behave yourself. Just so you know, I don't blame you for your brother's reckless behavior. I'm glad to hear that. I plan to be strictly professional with you, Mr. Torres. Before then, do you mind if I ask you something? Off the record? If that's the case, ask away. How long have you known Miss Bello? Do you think I care if you want to sign the divorce papers or not, Heidi? You don't have a choice. Yes, I do. Gianni, I've done a lot of thinking and I can't go through with it. I don't want to give up on our marriage. Well, I do. How can you expect me to stay married to the likes of you while you get to reap my family's benefits? Really? I married you for more than what your family has, Gianni. I married you because I fell in love with you. I'm still in love with you. What are you talking about? What could Mom and Dad be hiding from us? I don't know exactly. Before you go any further, JJ, how exactly do you know this? Are you doubting me? Do you think I just imagined the whole thing? I'm not saying that. Just tell me what you know. The other day, I overheard them talking. They're getting threats from someone. What sort of threats? That wasn't clear. What was clear was that they don't want either of us to know. Most likely because they don't want us to worry. Or they don't think we can handle it. When I say we, I mean me. Because I'm schizophrenic. Here's what I learned, baby bro. I learned that I should have pushed Pacho Torres out of the way so that I could teach his daddy a lesson. Do you plan to face a judge like this, Ben? Would you really say those words in court? Are you not worried about the fact that the man you attacked is pressing charges against you? Only because he wants to make himself feel better. As for me, I can go in with 2 beer bottles in my hand. No one is gonna convict me because I'm mom's son. Wow, I really envy you sometimes. Only if I had your confidence that I would go free with the charges that I'm facing. To answer your question, I haven't known your boss for long. The network reached out to me to see if I was willing to share my side of the story. Of course, that was an offer I couldn't refuse. I guess that makes sense as to how the two of you know one another. Do you mind if I ask you something, Miss Franklin? I don't mind at all. You don't seem too happy to speak with me. Is it because of your brother's relationship with my daughter, or do you actually think that I did what I was accused of? Here's my issue with that. I don't believe you. Most of all, I don't love you, Heidi. Not anymore. I find that hard to believe. Please don't flatter yourself. Besides, me filing for divorce should have been enough proof. I get it, Gianni. You might think that you've fallen out of love with me and fallen in love with Quinlan, who you might think will provide you with the fountain of youth. Most of all, it seems like we only stayed married out of convenience, but I can't imagine a life without you. You don't have to imagine that. We're connected for life because of our sons. Besides, don't think you could come running back to me just because you got tired of Finnegan. JJ, I doubt your illness is the reason why Mom and Dad would want to keep something like this from us. I was the one who heard them. I also heard Dad say how he doesn't want me knowing because he thinks I'd go crazy again. How many times do we have to remind you that we don't think you're crazy? No, you all just don't think I can handle tough news because I'm ill. Why don't you just tell Mom and Dad what you know, so that they can hover over me all the time? I don't think so. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. How are you holding up, dude? You're definitely not making things better when you act like this. I already told you that I'm not your responsibility. Stop worrying about me. Which also means you want me to stop caring about you, which is difficult to do, Ben, especially since I'm worried that both of us could end up in prison. I'm not going to prison. You're not going to prison. Just stay positive. Maybe you're not going to prison, but I'm still not sure about me. My charges are more serious. At this point, I'm starting to care less and less about my situation now. I don't have any personal issues against you where Zeke is concerned. As for whether you're guilty or not, that's up to the American people to decide. Unbiased, I see. I like that about you, Miss Franklin. Or may I call you Quinlan? Quinlan is fine. You can call me Devante. Come on, we're about to make major news with this interview. Can I get some excitement? Mr. Torres, I'm really not trying to be cold or distant. My only intention is to remain professional. This is a serious crime that you've been charged with. A crime which destroyed an entire family and left a 5-year-old boy traumatized for life. As I've told you countless times, my affair with Finnegan was a mistake. I was living a fantasy, just like you're living a fantasy with Quinlan. My feelings for her are real. If they're so real, then how come you didn't move her in this estate the moment you requested a divorce? You're sad. Time's up, Heidi. It's time for you to leave. Fine, I'll go, but I will be back. Most importantly, I will be back permanently and remain Mrs. Gianni Russo until you take your last breath. They wouldn't do that to you. Wanna bet, Vanessa? I'm not willing to find out. Then what are you gonna do? Prove to Mom and Dad that I can handle what I already know. Why does it sound like you're giving up, Max? Please don't tell me that you're saying that because I drink every now and then. What I'm saying is that I want these legal troubles to be over. Just hang in there. Before you know it, you'll be found innocent. You gotta keep fighting. Maybe you should take your own advice and fight for your own life. I can understand that you would feel this connection to the Russos after doing that documentary about Elvira. You can say that, but I'm not the one responsible for their pain. At this moment, we'll need to wait for a jury to decide that for themselves. We're almost ready. Guess it's showtime.